between Humboldt-University of Berlin and High School of Economics. Our meeting will be two parts. The second part will be the roundtable chaired by Professor Avtonomov, and it will follow the speeches of the faculty and honorable guests. And I would like to proceed to the beginning of the meeting and invite the Dean of the Faculty of Economic Sciences, Professor Sergey Pekarski, to welcome and greetings to the audience.
Good evening, dear colleagues, dear students, dear all. It's my pleasure to open this meeting, and I'm thankful for colleagues to organize this meeting. 20 years ago, I was actually a PhD student and a junior lecturer at the faculty. At that time, I was looking at young students who were actually not pretty younger than me. I was pretty intrigued and happy for the opportunities that were open within the cooperation of High School of Economics and the Humboldt-University. While I myself was mostly connected with another partner of HSE Erasmus University, but at the time I was actually among a few PhD students and young colleagues who were doing this. At the same time, I was seeing actually, in my understanding at that time, the huge program, the huge cooperation, the huge scope of this between High School of Economics and the Humboldt-University. Indeed, a lot of students of mine, not only students who I was teaching my course in macroeconomics, but actually students to whom I was a kind of advisor or let me say mentor, were engaged in this program. And in my perception at the time, that was indeed a brilliant opportunity. I was happy to see that students actually are pretty happy for the possibility to spend 1 year in Berlin and meet best professors in their fields to learn more, to acquire some particular communication skills, research skills, etc. So, to my understanding, this stage of cooperation between High School of Economics, between Faculty of Economic Sciences and Humboldt-University was a great opportunity for our university, which was at that time pretty young university, to develop further. And this was development both in terms of curriculum, because we had to put our programs, our courses in line with the requirement of partner university. And at the same time, it was a great deal for our students to become international students, to learn more about the world, more about the Europe, and to develop their skills further. So it is indeed a very great that 20 years had passed, and we have done a lot for us, for our students. So thank you, dear colleagues, and I hope that in the future our cooperation will be going further.
Thank you for your greeting. And now we would like to offer to talk Vice Rector Ivan Prostakov, please.
Thank you, Oksana. Dear Professor Pekarski, dear Professor Avtonomov, dear Professor Hubert, and dear Stefan, Karsch, and many other persons. I see many familiar faces also from German embassy, and obviously all my colleagues. I'm very glad to be with you tonight because in fact the cooperation with Humboldt-University is very significant for HSE. Yes, we started in 2001, 20 years ago, with the first program at the Faculty of Economic Sciences. And I would like to thank for this, particularly Professor Hubert and Professor Avtonomov, historical people, I would say, for our university. And historical not only for the development of this remarkable program, but also for the starting point of HSE Humboldt-University cooperation. Because now, yes, we started with economic sciences, but now we work together in many other fields, in social sciences, humanities, law, mathematics, and we have a good perspective to enlarge our cooperation, mainly in mathematics. I know that there are negotiations on the participation in the cluster of excellence, the cluster Math Plus, and also we see that many possibilities for cognitive sciences. For Faculty of Economic Sciences, it was an important step forward, and in fact, we together prepared more than 150 students from our university, and it continues. It still has continuing now with students starting after this program also at Humboldt-University at master's programs and the PhD programs. Now we have 9 our former students at your master programs and 1 PhD student. So even after 20 years, we really hope that there are many perspectives and many new projects to develop between our universities, considering that our German partners are among our priority partners, and Germany remains our priority partner, international partner for many fields of our research and education. So thank you once again for this meeting, for this interesting program. I will follow it with big interest, and I would like to wish you new programs, new projects, and many successes. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Rector Prostakov. And now we invite Dr. Stefan Karsch, Regional Coordinator for Central and Eastern Europe, Humboldt-University, please.
Yes, thank you, dear colleagues, dear students, dear friends. So when I came to Humboldt to the international office, it was 10 years ago. So I did not exactly realize that this was 10th anniversary of your program and this program. So it wasn't my effort that founded and established this program. On the contrary, when I came, it already existed 10 years. But nevertheless, I was glad to support it as much as I could. So we looked for some money, although Professor Hubert had some funds, but nevertheless, so we worked closely together. We had Erasmus Mundus funds in those times to support the students. And indeed, for us, the HSE is the most interesting partner in Russia. It was and is. And so we are very glad and grateful to Professor Hubert that he established, with the help of the Russian colleagues, this joint or double degree program. I mean, we all know that it is a real huge effort to establish a double degree program. It's the highest possible achievement of international exchange, and you have to improvise, you have to solve a lot of problems, and you have to be very stable and resilient to come to an end in this field. But yes, we have this double degree program with you, with the HSE, and we are very proud of this. And hopefully it will exist for another 20 years or another 10 at least. And it was an opportunity, I think, not only for the Russian participants, but for us too, because we had so interesting students in our university, in our faculty, in our School of Economics. And so you profited from things you got, probably knowledge you could not get in Moscow in this form and in this shape. And we had students we otherwise would not have had. And so it's a very comfortable win-win situation for all of us. And we are very grateful. And we are from the Humboldt administration are very grateful to all of you, to the organizers, to the students, that this double degree program exists, happened, and is so successful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, dear Stefan. And please, now I invite Professor Franz Hubert from Humboldt-University.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity to give my views on that. It's indeed 20 years ago. That's a long time. And actually, I forgot many details of how it started. But I have to admit that it was not only my work. It was only possible because we had this very generous funding by the Heinz Nixdorf Foundation, which established this chair particularly for fostering cooperation with the Russian partner university. And also because colleagues of mine, in particular Bengt Arne Wikström, were very busy already in the 90s to make sure that this economics department of the Humboldt-University becomes a kind of internationally oriented department. So it was actually Bengt Arne Wikström who had this terrible effort to establish a new study program, the Master in Economics and Management Science, which was taught entirely in English, which was completely new for us at that time in the 90s. And which was by its study rules oriented towards attracting students from abroad. And also it had a particular admission procedure for that. So this was already in place when I came to Humboldt-University. And so my contribution was then a little bit more modest in a sense, because I did not really establish the study program. The study program MEMS was already there, but when I started teaching at Higher School of Economics, which back in the 2000 was actually, or 2001 was quite different at that time. It was still, I mean, that was mainly an economics department, and they had law already and some others, but far smaller than they were now. And they had the problem that no one abroad knew them because they were new. So nobody knew about the Higher School of Economics. And the lady who ran the international department, Elena Golubinskaya, she was very active, luckily, and she really wanted to push international contacts, but she was French speaking, so her contacts were more towards other universities. And she's actually, as far as I know, she's living now in France. She moved to France. In any case, so I was there in Moscow, and I had the feeling that students there would benefit a lot from more international exposure, which was at that time much more difficult than today for them. Because first of all, if they had a bachelor degree from Higher School of Economics, it was not so easy to move abroad because these Russian university degrees were not very much appreciated. And as I said, higher school was not well known as being different. So, and they were not very well informed about their opportunities. So, at that time, at least. And so when I proposed that we could actually do a kind of dual degree program without really establishing a new study program, simply by squeezing students in both study programs, which already existed, the economics degree at Higher School of Economics and the MEMS, which we had at Humboldt-University. So the students had to apply for both programs. It was not a new study program with one application. It was they had to apply independently for both programs. And then once taken, they could then move to the other country for a year and get credits. I mean, in most cases, it was students, Russian students, who got credits for their achievement during the first year at Higher School of Economics. They got credits at Humboldt-University, so we accepted the courses. And this, to set up this system of mutual course recognition, this took a lot of effort because the procedures were, how to say, not very well streamlined. Yeah? So this took a lot of effort. But once this was established, it started to run smoothly for a long time. And it was very popular among the Russian students at that time. As I said, I mean, many of them actually entered the master program at the Higher School of Economics and only then learned about the possibilities to go abroad, and they really loved this. Yeah, so we attracted a lot of excellent students. I had a short look at the alumni list. I'm not quite sure, but I think out of 100 plus, which we have by now, I think it's 120 roughly, 12 or 15 actually did a PhD in either Humboldt-University or another German university or in the Netherlands or somewhere else in the West. So that's quite a high rate for master students to proceed to a PhD. And also when I look at the professions, some of them, I mean, we have a LinkedIn group. So, and 40 of the students are in this LinkedIn group. And so you can scroll through and see what happens to them over the years. And it's quite amazing the type of jobs they hold. I mean, all are in leading positions, some at universities. It's quite impressive. So I think it's not only from my experience as a teacher at Humboldt-University, also from what they achieved afterwards, I can say we really attracted very good students. So, and in this sense, I'm quite happy that we were able to give young people an opportunity to broaden their views, to improve their education, and to move around and get an international exposure. And I hope that this will go on, although I see from the interest on the side of Russian students that many students in Russia now, they are much more mobile. They do not really depend on the dual degree anymore in this sense. So after finishing their bachelor, if they want to go abroad and if they are bright, they have much more opportunities nowadays than they had in the shortly after 2000 in the first years. So I think the program today, it's still a good opportunity, but it is probably not as important for the universities as it used to be for quite a while. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Hubert. Now we welcome Matthias Fischer, head of the Department of Economy and Science from the German Embassy, please.
Yes, thank you very much for inviting me. I wish you all a very happy and relaxing Friday evening. And let me start. Vice Rector Prostakov, Dr. Karsch, Professor Hubert, dear alumni, dear students, of course, I'm glad to greet you at the 20 years cooperation event of the Humboldt-University Berlin and the Higher School of Economics University. In 2001, barely 9 years after the foundation of the Higher School of Economics, this cooperation was one of the first collaborations with a foreign university ever. Probably none of the partners could foresee at the time how the relation would be developing. But now, 20 years later, the success and stability of this cooperation is very obvious. HSE is one of the most important partner universities in German-Russian scientific cooperation. Together, we carry out numerous programs and projects. Now, let me just mention the Russia in Practice, where myself and many other colleagues have been able to participate thanks to the university invitation. And even in an excellent German, I really remember this event in an excellent German by the students. We could discuss, let's say, of a level of German students. And to reach this, I think it must be a pretty good university, if I just may this mention this on the sidelines. Meanwhile, the HSE has established cooperations with almost 50 universities all over Germany. Numerous alumni and scholarship holders from Germany are working at the HSE. Let me just mention the 5 alumni of the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation. Of course, the von Humboldt Foundation, this is really something. This is a very good scholarship. It's financially interesting, and especially it's scientifically one of the most prestigious scholarships one can get worldwide, I would say. 3 alumni of the German Chancellor Scholarship, also very prestigious scholarships, and 4 honorary professors of the Higher School of Economics are from Germany. Among others, Mr. Alexander Ra, of course, who knows Russia extremely well and speaks Russian fluently. There are many other double degree programs with 5 other German universities besides the Humboldt University in Berlin. In short, this partnership has become a success story. Let me congratulate you to this milestone in your bilateral cooperation, which is also an example of the success of the German-Russian relations in education and science. Let me just mention here the 14,000 students we had in 2019 from Russia, and it seems that this year we will also be coming close to this number. Let me also mention the more or less 1,000 university partnerships between Germany and Russia, which are in all subjects, natural sciences, humanities, and which of course were especially also promoted by the Year of Science that we had, the German-Russian Year of Science that we had until 2020, until last year. Of course, everything is difficult in these pandemic circumstances, but I think we are on an upward slope. Things are getting better, and scholarships are starting. We have once again lots of applications, and I think 2022 we'll be back to the levels of 2022, not only economically but also scientifically, which is extremely important. So this successful cooperation, of course, a very important part of this is the alumni network, because we all know that after so many years, my studies go back to 40 years, let's say, ago. But of course, you always keep the friendship and the friends of those times. You keep the memories of good professors, of good universities. And this is a very special experience that we should always keep in mind. So alumni is a very worthwhile activity of HSE and of the German scientific organizations. As the embassy we also attach great importance to the alumni network. I would like to invite you all to the next big alumni conference in Yekaterinburg at the end of October, 24th, for all alumni of German educational programs. This is, of course, going to be a very, very special event. I wish you an exciting and informative evening, and I hope that this program will contribute to your successful career. Thank you for your attention. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit und ich wünsche einen schönen Abend. Желаю хорошего вечера.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fischer. And now we will have Professor Avtonomov to look into the past.
Thank you. Thank you, Oksana. It was a very good idea to organize such a meeting and to share reminiscences from this distant past. Well, I'd like to begin with the fact that for our university and for me personally, the collaboration with Humboldt-University is extremely important. Well, Humboldt University, as we know, was the first research university of a new type in Europe. And actually the Russian universities, a long chain of them, were built following this muster, this speaking in German. And our university, Higher School of Economics, from the very beginning, aspired to be the research university, just in this Humboldtian type. So I think this collaboration is just symbolic, first of all. Then what regards me personally, Berlin was the first foreign city I visited in my life. And the first institution I got acquaintance with was Humboldt University. It was during my student years. I was in the third year in Moscow State University, and we went to GDR as in a kind of a study tour. So we enjoyed Berlin very much, and this old ancient building in Spandauer Straße 1 was very spectacular and very impressive. And well, since then I've got very good memoirs of Humboldt University. So when in 2001, Professor Hubert came to our university, a very sympathetic and energetic professor from Berlin, and proposed the dual diploma program, double diploma program. Well, I was very enthusiastic about this from the very beginning. And we started to work. Franz shared with you his impressions. Well, not everything went smoothly enough. For me, it was also not an easy task, because I've just come to HSE as a dean. It was my, I think, second year as a dean. So we had to overcome bureaucratic barricades. Sometimes they were considerable, but as we see, we have achieved real success. We have wonderful students who graduated from this program, and for me personally, it's a very good sign that a lot of them agreed to come and to share their experience from Berlin in this meeting. And so if it's already time, I can begin this round table, yes, with them. No, not yet.
Well, it's up to you. I don't know. We have time. We're okay. Good. Please.
Okay, yes, yes. So some of them I know very, very well, and I love the students. Some of them I don't know as well, but I'm looking forward to meeting them and to hearing what they can tell us about their experience in Berlin and their impressions from Humboldt-University. Is Nadezhda Unesikhina here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Nadezhda, please share with us your experience.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I just wanted to say congratulations to Professor Dr. Hubert and everyone who made this program possible with the 20 years. It's a really great achievement and a big date. And yeah, in general, although I did my MEMS program a bit in a rush, that gave me a big opportunity to start my career in hospitality and in finance, and all the knowledge that was shared with us during the program was extremely useful and very practical. And over the years, I still come back to what we have studied during the times of the program. And in general, everyone perceives the diploma that I have in a very positive manner. And I also wanted to thank Professor Hubert for patience with me in general, and also for the opportunity to not only have this career with Hilton as a project manager, but also to continue my research. Recently, I started my PhD in TU, in Technical University of Munchen, and I'm looking now into climate finance, and without Professor Hubert and his input and patience with me, this would not have been possible. So I just want to say again, congratulations and big thank you for such a great opportunity.
Thank you, Nadia. We're happy to see that you combine your practical activities with a scientific career. That's great. Yes, now Elena Semerikova, please, Lenочка.
Yes, hello everyone. So it's my turn. I'm very happy to be here online though. So my experience started, I would say, very long ago when I had an opportunity to become a student of economic faculty. So with you, Vladimir Sergeyevich, everything started for me. And after that, after some time studying, I realized that there is an opportunity to go to Berlin. And for me, it was 2012 when we went to the second year. And at that time, it was still really very necessary to have some additional help to go there, because we were not so mobile as students now. We really need that help. And I remember that we had German lessons in our university, a lot of German lessons, and our teachers, they were so much caring so much about us that we can speak and we can live there in Germany. So I had a lot of years studying German here at HSE. And then we came there for 1 year, and I finished everything very quickly. So and then I went back to Moscow, and I stayed in our university for postgraduate studies, our aspirantura. And after that, I realized that I want to come again, and I had this opportunity again to be like an exchange. It was a scholarship program, and so I had an opportunity to come again to Berlin. So I learned even more, and every time I came back, my supervisor said that, so you come like a new student, like a new person from there, because you know a lot more, and you can teach our HSE professors and others many new stuff. So that was very profitable for me and for other members of our university. So, and right now I am a member, our faculty member, and students come to me, those students who are interested in, I don't know how to say, German studies. They are interested in analyzing German data, or they are interested in going to Germany, and now they do that by themselves, so they apply independently. It doesn't matter, but they all come to me and ask advice, and I'm supervising them. So for me, this is a really big, long story, and it's still not ending for me. So I hope that I will continue doing something there and have some links with Humboldt-University, because this is really a very nice, good place for me. So so I started already to say thank you to Vladimir Sergeyevich when I joined the faculty as a student. Then Professor Hubert, thank you a lot for leading all this program. I was somewhere in the middle when you did that, but at that time we were around 15 students that year. That was a very big year. We all came at that time. So, and it was really great experience. Thank you a lot. And as a faculty member, I am open to collaboration now and later on.
Thank you, Lenочка. It's a great story, and we're very happy that you are helping with this as an intermediary between our universities. That's very good. That's very good. Thank you. Roman Protasevich, one of the first students of the exchange program, the man I know and esteem very highly. Please, Roman.
Hello, everyone, and thank you. Yes, indeed, I was in the very first intake of this program. That's why I thought it's good to come to this 20 years anniversary. And I congratulate everyone that this proved to be such a success. Back then, indeed, as Franz perfectly explained, this program was of even like more importance, high importance for students, because we didn't have much information about opportunities for studying abroad. It was very hard to get to Europe for studies, yeah, I can say big thank you to you, Franz, for your initiative and for your courage to come to Russia, a completely unknown country without any contacts, and searching for a partner for Humboldt-University in Moscow. And to you, Vladimir Sergeyevich, for being open to international cooperation and for all your efforts in fighting bureaucratic barricades for like making this program happen. This program really changed my life, broadened my horizons, perspectives, made my world bigger, and showed to me that international career is possible. And as those of you who know me a bit better know, I did use those opportunities at 100%. So now I'm in Germany, in Düsseldorf. But actually, right after the program, I also spent some time in Moscow, and I also worked in London and studied in Paris again. So I really became, thanks to this program, like a mobile person and a global citizen. And this wouldn't be possible without this cooperation between HSE and Humboldt. I think it would be interesting to remember here how this program started from student perspective. So it was in 2001 when the program was announced. And the program sounded very attractive to me, at least. So High School of Economics already had some programs with France and with Netherlands, but those programs were half a year. And here it was a like full 1 year opportunity, resulting into a diploma and not into just spending some time abroad without a diploma. Plus, it was an opportunity to learn German, to spend some time in Berlin, which is an amazing city. And it's one of European capitals and global cities of the world. So it all looked very good, but the announcement moment was just perfect. It was after very, very final exam of the summer exam session. So when everyone was already in the summer mood, not really prepared to collect any documents, prepare for GRE, TOEFL, and all the strict requirements that MEMS program put in front of potential candidates. And the submission deadline was 1st of September or something close to that. So all my friends went to summer vacations. I did as well. As we all know, at сессии до сессии живут студенты весело, which means from one exam sessions to the other, students leave, have fun and don't care much about anything. So, but unlike most of my other friends, when I got back in early September to High School of Economics, I really did my best to prepare. I spent every day in international library, preparing for TOEFL, GRE, all the exams. And so I passed them, and luckily there was not that much competition. Probably not that lucky for Franz, but lucky for me and the other participants of the first intake. So we were admitted, we were, I think, 7. And we went to Germany in 2002. So really enjoyed it. It was a fantastic experience. Yeah, and once again, big thank you to you and to all other people who created this program and made it a success. So looking backwards, I say that we always are confronted with some choices in our life, and every choice we make somehow limits the window of opportunity in the future. Like our past choices, they determine what future is open to us and what future is not open. Like I didn't study singing when I was a kid. Now I cannot be an opera singer and all that. But some choices, they make our future choices broader. They make our life more flexible and they open opportunities to us. So of course, they still rule out some of the other options, but still these choices, they like keep us stay flexible and keep our options open. And this program is definitely one of such life choices for me. And I'm really glad that I participated in it.
Roman, thank you very much. Olga Reznikova.
Das ist me.
Oh, hello.
Good evening, everyone, and I'm very, I want to say that I'm really flattered to be invited here and to see all of you, and you, Professor Avtonomov, and you, Professor Hubert, in particular. I'm really pleased that I have such an opportunity to see you. Unfortunately, not in person. I think we're quite spread everywhere, but even this is great, and it's really interesting to hear like different experiences from the different point of views, because of course this program united us in a way, and I'd like to share my experience of this program, because honestly I was doing my studies in HSE. I enjoyed them very much. It was fantastic, and then suddenly at the when I was finishing my bachelor's degree, I realized, yeah, I want more. I want to travel a little bit. I want to see what is happening outside Russia. I want to have another education experience. And luckily, I realized that there's this program where I can enroll. So Professor Hubert was very kind and to accept me last moment. I jumped to the last pedal of the leaving train and managed to get on board. That was, by the way, in 2004, so really long time ago. And we were doing the studies, first in Moscow. And then in 2005, before going to Germany, there was a conference, European Financial Association, which is a very famous, well-acknowledged conference in the world. And we were very lucky that it was taking place, it was organized in HSE. And so all the HSE facilities were there for the conference during the month of July or August, I don't remember exactly. And Professor Hubert was one of the organizers. And we, fresh young students were there to assist, like be at the gates and say, oh, your room is over there. And please, here's your badge. And it was so interesting because it really gave us this, entrance to this amazing world of academic conferences. We were right away exposed to the big names in the academic society. And also we got an opportunity to attend the presentations for free. Normally to attend such a conference, it's a fee of $1,500 or euros. And we, young 20-year-old students were just partying there in a way. That was very, very nice experience. So that was my first impression of the Humboldt program, which had nothing to do with it. So thank you very much, Professor Hubert, for giving us this opportunity. And then we moved to Germany, and that was a really jump in the unknown, and it was extremely exciting. We loved that experience. We were a bigger group than the group of 2003, 2004. So we were not 7. I think we were around 11, 12 people. And actually the first thing that we did when we moved to Germany, we booked the weekend tickets, and we went to Munchen for the Oktoberfest. So we didn't care about the studies. We wanted to celebrate the beginning of the new life. And that was a joyful, interesting experience. We were absolutely exhausted and totally happy. And that's how we started our studies in Germany. And then, of course, the studies came, and it was very interesting to compare the different educational systems. So what we experienced in HSE versus what we had in Humboldt. And of course, on some topics, Humboldt was more advanced. On some topics, HSE were more advanced. And so we were trying to find our ways between the two. So for me, Humboldt was really this opportunity that I had to enter into the into a broader world in a way. And as a Roman, I also used that opportunity to maximum extent possible. I actually never returned to Russia. From Germany, I continued my journey, and I moved to Belgium. And actually, I moved to Belgium to work on a PhD. And this was a PhD topic on statistics. And first time I discovered this topic was still during the MEMS program. And I used that topic to write my master thesis in Berlin, and then also to present it in Moscow. And the topic was so innovative, it was on statistical modeling of copulas, that at that time, in 2005, 2006, there was no paper published on this topic in Russia. So I was actually struggling because I couldn't translate the terms because there's no reference. So I was in a way the first one to use this term in the Russian community. And it was also a little bit frustrating for me because I was presenting this innovative topic in front of a very difficult committee, because it was Professor Kantarovich and Professor Shaik and etc. Who were very known statisticians. And this was the topic where they heard probably, but not very good in detail. So I received a lot of technical questions during the defense. But luckily, I received my 10 out of 10 and could graduate from HSE. So I just wanted to say that Humboldt really helped me with this, helped me find the topic of the research, which was super important. And actually, so I continued working on this topic during my PhD, and I'm one of the few people who are doing PhD and then going to the business world and actually using the knowledge that they gained in the PhD in the real business world. So I spent 8 years working as a consultant. Several times it happened to me that during the meetings, I had to take out my PhD and actually say, I've did this analysis, these are the results. And, and people were convinced that this, something that could be interesting to consider in the financial modeling. So for me, it was really great opportunity, and I'm very happy that I decided to use it, and I really recommend to others to do the same and try go in education abroad and combine the two worlds together. Thank you again very much. I'm really happy to see everyone, and I hope that we continue staying in touch.
Thank you very much, Olga. Well, you see, dear colleagues, that our graduates really are very strong in combining research and practical activities. And I think it's really the advantage of MEMS program, and which really brought our students this kind of management and business studies. Because prior to that, we were not accustomed to such management studies in Russian universities. And I think here, MEMS program really broke the new way. So that's very important. Artem Chaplygin, please.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello, Artem.
Thank you very much for organizing it, Oksana. A huge thank you. It's an amazing evening. It's actually such a pleasure to see all the faces, to see you, Professor Hubert, Olga. We haven't seen each other for so many years either. Thank you so much for doing this work for the last 20 years. I personally have to thank a lot to this exchange program, because I'm calling in from Berlin today. I'm still living here, and in this way, this program actually changed the whole direction of my life in many ways. And it wasn't always a given, I have to say, because a personal story. When I just came to Berlin, I was pretty surprised by the place. It was very gray, it was very cold, and after Moscow, it felt like almost provincial. So for me, in the beginning, it felt like, okay, just 2 more semesters, and I'm coming back to Moscow to continue my studies or to start working. And everything changed by the summer. When the sun came out, we passed all the exams, and we had a lot of fun studying as well. And then I literally fell in love with the city. I loved pretty much everything about it. I liked the parks, I liked the lifestyle, which was very different from Moscow at the time. I loved riding the bike to work and to the university, something that was pretty unthinkable of in Moscow at the time. And on top of that, I started dating a girl also from the MEMS program, which is quite funny. So I had every reason to stay in Berlin, but unfortunately I couldn't, because I still had to write my thesis, and I didn't have money, so I had to leave. And I left to Russia. I left with this girl because she lived in Belarus, and she said, like, hey, you can go with me by train, and you can stay there for 1 day or 2, and then you can go back to Moscow. So I met her family, and then I went back to Moscow. It was very clear to me at the moment that by all means I was going to come back to Berlin, and that's what happened a few months later after I finished the master thesis. And Berlin at the time was a very different place compared to what it is now. I was remembering today what it was like, and in fact there was not even a main train station. Hauptbahnhof was not open yet at the moment. It was called Lehrterbahnhof, and I'm living now in Neukölln, which is close to this gorgeous park called Tempelhof. It used to be an airport where airplanes used to land and take off, actually, when we just came to Berlin. Pretty incredible. And another thing about Berlin was that there were not many jobs at the moment. In fact, nobody knew back in 2006 or 2007 what to do with the city. So all the political bodies, they moved from Bonn to Berlin. There was a lot of artists. There was a lot of things going on. There was a huge nightlife, and people thought, okay, maybe it's going to be a cultural capital, or maybe it's going to be a political capital, or something else. So nobody had really an idea of what it would become soon, a few years later. And talking about jobs, it was really difficult to find a job here in Berlin, especially one that was, you know, interesting for an ambitious young man who just finished this great program. So I went to Frankfurt, and I started. I was lucky enough to join a pretty amazing team. It was a investment boutique which specialized in advising technology companies, which was a pretty young or emerging thing, especially after the dot-com bubble in Germany. And I learned quite a lot of things. I loved the team, I loved the job, but to be honest, I didn't like Frankfurt so much. I was missing Berlin all the time, and in fact, I ended up going to Berlin every weekend. Every single weekend, every Friday I would go to Berlin, and then on Monday come back to work in Frankfurt. Until I found out that there was one guy working for the company. It was a managing director who was as a sole person in the whole company working from Berlin. So I joined him, and it was a good collaboration. I started staying in Berlin for Monday and Tuesday, and then going to Frankfurt until we finally established an office in Berlin, and it grew up pretty quickly. We had pretty successful deals there. In fact, we even hired two of the other MEMS guys from a later year, and they're my friends now. And 2012, another thing happened in my life. Let's say there was some misunderstandings in the company, and basically it broke down. Several people left, including myself. And our leader, Andy Tumler, decided to do whiskey distillery, Germany, which is absolutely crazy. So the business became very boring, and I became an entrepreneur. I wanted to start a startup, start a company, which was a very, you know, refreshing experience, because we failed after 1 year. And I had to go back into advisory again. But I was already in Berlin, and I was already exploring this emerging tech scene here, which is, you know, famous for one thing. It is all the time evolving and changing, and it pushes one to learn a lot. It pushes one to learn all the time. And this is something that makes me very, very happy. I think, in fact, this is something that both Humboldt-University and the High School of Economics are so good at teaching people. So this program is basically what affected my life dramatically from the beginning up until now. And I'm so thankful that I was part of this thing, part of this program so early in its history. Thank you very much again. And I'm looking forward to connect with all of you.
Thank you, Artem. It's a very lively personal experience. Very interesting. Thank you a lot. Sergey Samokhvalov, please.
Hi, everyone. And many thanks for organizing this event. First, it's quite a pity I can't see you in person, and we have to do this event online. And of course, that's a big date, and I would really prefer to be today in, let's say, tiny but cozy flat of Franz in the Sotka building, and to have a proper beer with all of you. On the other hand, on the positive side, I need to admit it was a very right timing for me to be in Berlin and to explore it as a student without a mask and without all these quarantine measures. So that's probably the point where we can say that Actually, the grass was really greener 13 years ago when I came to Berlin. I'd like to thank personally Franz and entire HSE team for this amazing opportunity to study in Berlin. And actually, being a management consultant, I always try to structure all my communication. Actually, that tries not all of my friends, but I could do nothing about that. So I want to highlight 3 things Humboldt helped me with. First, that's a new academical background for me. Unlike most of the students, I joined the program after management faculty, and I was super innocent in micro and macroeconomics. And studying in Humboldt was a very painful and challenging experience for myself. But I really appreciate this knowledge and the efforts I put to get that. Second, I would like to thank Humboldt for my decision to start my career as a management consultant. So basically, Berlin was exactly the place where I made the decision. And the first I studied in Humboldt, which helped me to join in-house consulting of Deutsche Post DHL in Bonn. Then that helped me to join Boston Consulting Group in Moscow. And finally, I decided to join our family's consulting startup. Thanks for that. And last and probably foremost, I would like to thank this program for friendship and for outstanding culture experience. I met many of my friends in Berlin who also studied with me on MEMS program. Some of them I'm happy to see here. And what makes me double happy is that I met them probably in the best place to be a student at. Berlin was amazing, and I really love that. I keep on loving that, and thanks for that. That's probably it from my side, and thanks again for this fantastic program, and thanks everyone for being here today.
Thank you very much, Sergey. Konstantin Bogatyrev, please.
Hi everyone, greetings from Milan, from my side, and I'm very happy to see you all here. Greetings especially to those of you, those familiar faces who know me, who I know. What I'd like to add to all of the awesome comments that we already heard is that in my personal experience, I also chose a higher school of economics for the fact that there was this program there. And like for me, it was very important to have an opportunity to go abroad, to experience the world. And I still consider that studying at MEMS, studying in Germany and doing the double degree was one of the best decisions in my life. I think it changed a lot, and not only in terms of, giving me a career push, giving me knowledge, but just the fact that you study abroad, just the fact that you become more independent, more adult, that you see a different academic culture, a different society. I think it was definitely a memorable experience. And I wouldn't say that my path after that was very straightforward. It was rather a search. And I tried many things after studying in Berlin. So right after finishing the program, I actually entered an internship in the German parliament in the Bundestag. So I worked as a research fellow for 3 months for a member of the finance committee of the German parliament. Then I went back to Moscow and I worked for a corporation for a while, at MTS, like the biggest telecom corporation in Russia, in the finance department. I also wasn't very happy with it. And at the same time, I received an offer to actually start teaching at another university in Moscow, the one where I did my bachelor's. One of the reasons why they invited me to teach lectures, to give lectures there, is the fact that I studied in Germany in an established program. So just the mere fact that I did this double degree helped me to enter the academic career, let's say. And I did it for a couple of years. I quite liked teaching. And this is how I decided to continue with the academic journey. I was also still interested in all the research and academic topics. So I decided to start a PhD. And this is what I'm doing now for the third year already in Milan at Bocconi University. I'm kind of experiencing a lot of flashbacks of Berlin here. So the experience of moving again from Russia somewhere abroad to study is somewhat similar, although Berlin is a better city maybe. Yeah, would be happy to hear your comments and your questions. Thank you.
Konstantin, thank you very much. Nikita Kozodoy, please.
Yes. Thanks a lot. I'm also very happy to join this event today. And I would like to thank everyone on the German side and on the Russian side for organizing the program and keeping it running for so many years. It's amazing. I personally did my double degree program in 2016, so 5 years ago. And at that time, there were multiple double degree or exchange programs available at the Higher School of Economics, but it was the Humboldt-University program that seemed much more attractive to me compared to the others. And as Konstantin was saying, I also knew about this program when I was applying on my master's program in Moscow. So I was actually aiming for this double degree program from the very beginning. And it didn't make the process of preparing less stressful because we still had to do a lot with this language tests, GRE tests, and other things to prepare. But it certainly gave me some time to be done with that. When we came to billing, this was quite stressful. I remember it very well because I actually came in the last registration day at the MEMS program. If I came one day later, I couldn't actually register. But I did that because on the evening before that day, there was a football game in St. Petersburg, which I was sitting in very late during the evening on one of the Champions League games. And then early in the morning next day, I was flying to Berlin and trying to get in all the queues to get all the paperwork done in the last day, which was quite stressful, but was successful in the end. And I think we had 5 or 6 people at the program at that time. And this was actually super helpful to have some other people who are also doing the same double degree program and have exactly the same issues. Because as all of you probably know, arriving in Berlin and having to solve many bureaucratic issues like opening a bank account, or registering at the local address, it can take weeks or even months if you don't know how to do that properly. So having people who are also going through the same process was super helpful. I wasn't planning to stay in Germany from the very beginning, but I sort of changed my mind during doing this program. And now 5 years from starting it, I'm still in Berlin and not planning to go anywhere else in the next couple of years at least. So it also changed a lot my plans and where I ended up in the end. During my studies at Berlin, I was always drawn towards research, interested in statistics, econometrics, and doing data analysis. So I started working at part-time at the Max Planck Institute for Human Development, where we did some analysis on the marketing data sets and people using heuristics and machine learning algorithms. And then after I done all that, I had to go back to Moscow for some time actually, because maybe in contrast to many of the other double degree alumni, I actually had 2 completely separate master theses on completely different topics. So I had to actually spend some additional time to write my Russian master thesis on it. So I stayed about 1 semester in Moscow again, and then I came back to Berlin. I was very lucky to see a nice opening position as a PhD position at the Humboldt-University in collaboration with one of the fintech companies who's doing research on machine learning and in finance and credit scoring. And I actually ended up getting this position and still sitting in this ancient Spandauer Strasse building, which we were discussing today in the beginning, and very happy about that. And now approaching the end of my program, and looking forward to getting my my doctoral diploma early next year, and then looking forward for next opportunities in Berlin. So again, I'm very happy that this double degree program was something that influenced me and influenced my path a lot, and that because of that I ended up in Berlin and in the position where I am now. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikita. We wish you good luck with your thesis. And
thanks a lot.
Alles Gute in Berlin. Now please, Irina Yakimenko.
Yeah, hello everyone. Greetings from Berlin. Thank you for invitation to this roundtable. My name is Irina, and I graduated MEMS program last year. I think that I'll just follow some bullet points that I was provided before this discussion as a preparation. So how the HSE helped me? And I would say that HSE taught me to work hard, to study hard, and to bear stress. And I think that HSE also provided me the ability to learn. And after the Harvard School of Economics, it's not quite difficult to study abroad. What was different in studying at Humboldt in comparison to the HSE for me personally is that at Humboldt it was more predictable, because there are rules, you follow them, and you get the expected results. And the HSE, you can study for some subject and still not pass. At least when you don't have at least a little understanding. And here I think you can learn something by heart, and you should be lucky to pass the minimum at least. And what is typical in my career is not long. I studied it only in January, but I think that it's typical after the graduation of some economics or financial program to continue in a Big 4, Big 3, or in some bank. And what is less typical is to continue there as a foreigner. And the Berlin is a city of startups, and the typical language in startups is English because they are quite international. So there's a higher possibility to find here a job in some startup. And my advice for future generations is forewarned, forearmed. Just gather information in advance to be prepared. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Irina. Well, dear friends, we've experienced a series of very exciting stories. I think you could feel the general very positive emotions about Berlin, about MEMS program. And I think we're really, we can be proud of this program. And I use this opportunity to thank once more Franz Hubert, because I know his deep personal involvement with this program. And I heard from all the participants that they had a good time in Berlin and this program. Well, I give the floor to Oksana.
Thank you very much, Professor Avtonomov. I would like to add a little bit. First of all, I wrote this last slide that we are going to meet in 10 years from now. But in fact, I know that some of you are going to meet tomorrow in Berlin. And the others are going to visit Pokrovka campus. I would like to introduce you, Evgenia Voronova. Please, Evgenia, speak up. say hello.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Excellent. Excellent. So Evgenia will greet you tomorrow. And in fact, if you attended this meeting and only now figured out that you can or you would like to visit Pokrovka campus tomorrow, it is still possible. The excursion tour, and it is, believe me, exclusive tour. You cannot get into those premises without Evgenia and without the tour. Yes, this is very serious. So if you decide to join tomorrow, please email me and we will send you contacts with Evgenia, arrange passes and so on. And I'm really happy how smoothly we organized this event. So many people volunteered whom I never met before. And I'm so happy to see all of them together now. Instead of spending time somewhere, I don't know, doing research or with their relatives, we gathered together here today in such a warm atmosphere. And I want to add that we have current German students, we have current students who are in Humboldt for the exchange now. We also have Ivan Boldarev and all the colleagues who did not speak, but I'm sure enjoyed this evening together, and these memories and advice for the future and so on. I think if you would like to sum up, any of you, please, you are welcome to add like the last word.
If I may, not to sum up, but wish you, all of us, to continue to be in touch. This story, success story, with 20 years of amazing experiences in education and research, but first of all, in human relations between people from different countries, from different cities, is a unique heritage for all of us. And I hope and I wish to all of you to continue to be in touch, despite distances, despite coronavirus. And I wish you all to meet once together here in Moscow, in Berlin, or maybe somewhere else. Because once again, probably the meeting, tonight's meeting, is the confirmation that all our friendships, all our partnerships may be real, true, only if we continue our human relations. So I hope to see you all in person once, and I wish you good health to all of you and to all your families and your friends. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vice Rector Prostakov. And I wish everyone a very nice evening, and see you in 2031.
May I add one?
Oh, yeah, sure.
As I mentioned before, there is a LinkedIn group. Yeah. So because the problem is always who maintains the contacts. Yeah. So I just checked. It's called Alumni HSE HUB Exchange. So I have 40 members on this. If you are not on this and you want to join it, yeah, then either you search in LinkedIn and you find it and send me an email, or you just send me an email straight. Yeah, it's still a simple email address is franzhubert@web.de, and then I will put you on this list. It's an easy way to maintain a common network. If one person has to do it, sooner or later it will fall into disrepair. I mean, it requires constant effort. And so I would invite you to just either join it on your own, or you send me an email and then I will somehow find you and put you on the list. Okay, thanks for coming. It was, yeah, I mean, usually as a professor, you see the students coming and going, but you never find out what happened to them. And so it's one of the rare occasions where you really see that, wow, all this effort actually does something good in the end. So thanks for coming and thanks for sharing your story with me. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You.
Bye. Bye.